Welcome to another McLogo racing video in iRacing. This is Suzuka International Race course. Sorry, I'm in the Lamborghini GT3 Evo, the Huracàn, and I managed to get a P2 in qualifying. Had my so far best lap in that qualifying lap that I did ever on this track. I'm not new to this track as I already did some M4 and a Ferrari fixed race on it, so that's one advantage that I've got. Even if so I'm fairly new to iRacing. This is also the week 12, so the last week of the season. And let's see if we can do good in this race. So we're off to the start. It's accelerating. I managed to keep P3 behind me, which is kind of
Go, 2 litres remaining.
Here, I think you don't want to get too wide or so into these corners, especially on the first, where the car is twitchy, and as you can see, P3 turned in. That kind of happens with cold tires, so we're very aware of this, and I'm taking it easy. I'm kind of cautiously driving the first lap. Anyway, Suzuka is a special track with these corners that need a little bit feeling, I think, and timing. I mean, by all means, I'm not a good driver, but yeah, I'm getting better. I think I'm improving. So for the guy in front, he was, I think, 0.2 of a second faster in qualifying. I think he can lap pretty quick, but let's see if he's also consistent. That was something that I didn't do well in the first race. I was able to qualify fairly good, so I P4, but then the first lap I got black flagged, so fell back behind and did catch up to P8 again and made a mistake. As he does here, he turns in a little bit too much, and that's it's really tricky. The track is kind of tricky, and the cold tires, so or not yet really heated up tires. I think I did some really good practice in some Apex sessions for this race. I kind of know how I should take some of the corners for me to turn in good laps. I mean, good laps. What I think is a good lap, not what the really fast drivers do. But for me, I can be consistent at my skill level and turning quick laps without overdriving or being too aggressive. I think that's the key here. Keeping the pace high, but still not overdriving it, not risking everything. As you can see, I did not went out fully yet onto the curbs. I do so as the race is progressing. And here also, it's the car or the lap times are faster if you're cautiously, and kind of rather slight on the throttle. And I'm managing to keep the guys behind me for
the gap to Castro behind is now 1.8.
And at this time I just thought, they will catch me, so I'll just try to drive consistently, not overdo it, normal laps. This corner here, it's I kind of take it quite narrow so that nobody can stick his nose in or can get into the insides. But actually, if you're alone, you can take it a little bit wider and get more speeds in and out. And I feel these corners here, they need kind of a timing or a feel for the track to get a good acceleration, and you lose a lot of time if you don't exit them well, because it's a long straight that you go full speed. And also here the corner, it's tricky because the car wants to turn in more. So what I do is, in that low corner, I'm coming full speed, 6th gear, shift down, and turn in, and just with the throttle I keep the car stable, that it doesn't turn in too much. And at the same time you have also to be cautious not to hit the curbs. outside or not go over the curbs, because the car can really snap in really fast and you'll use it, and it's hard to avoid a crash, and at that speed the car is basically broken. And I always, while I was driving here, I always looked at the times every lap, so okay, 2 point something. So as soon as I saw that I'm kind of a little bit improving, I thought, yeah, if they're not catching, that's fine, that's good. I'll just try to keep them back. It's also a little bit easier for fuel calculation. Who's using race laps, that is calculating the fuel. And as long as you're not driving in draft too much, it's very, very accurate. I think it's even accurate in draft with normal cars here, but as long as you have a very constant fuel usage, the app is very accurate to calculate the fuel amount you need, and also you'll get a quick pit stop. Sorry. I lost a little bit of time somehow, but doesn't matter. I still just trying to kind of turn my laps in consistently. It's kind of a little bit alone if you're P1, as there's no one near, and it doesn't look as if there's on this split. It's split 6 of 8. So at this level, there are not that many yet. Many cars that are that have been crashed or that lose a lot of time, so that you lap them quickly. So of course always can happen. There have been incidents, but it seems they're still well ahead of me, and I mean that's also good. So I can just drive, get my laps in, try to be consistent, and just enjoy it. By the way, this is in the morning. I think it's qualifying was around 7 o'clock in the morning or so. So this is the sun that is coming out. Temperatures are around, I think, between 90 and 21 degrees in this race. So very good temperatures for tires. Not a lot of wear, and quite a lot of grip compared to other tracks, maybe like Bathurst or maybe also Sebring that can get asphalt temperatures of 40 degrees during the day or higher, which makes high wear. I mean, let's not say an issue, but it's just higher. And of course, everybody is driving with the same conditions, so it doesn't matter. But it's just easier to drive in the cold weather, and lap times are a little bit faster. Even so, the best thing is, of course, if it's constant and you drive at the same temperature as you did practice, of course, because it's just you don't need to get used to anything. The livery that I by the way drive is a race lap livery. Yeah, as I like the app and also the liveries that the guys do. So even so, I would rather have my own ones, and that will be something that for the future I'll get my own liveries, as long as I have got my own racing the race lab liveries. And there was some guy pitting here, guess that had a crash or something. The first car that I see since some time. The gap has I was able to widen it up to 5 seconds, and at this time I thought, yeah, it looks good. It's possible that I could maybe keep this gap up. Maybe I still wasn't sure that I could run away, but even so, that was the goal. Just getting lap consistently. But I'm running, as I said before, quite an aggressive setup. A lot of downforce and a lot of rake. And
the gap to Castro behind is now 5.0.
I wasn't sure if it stays consistent with wearing tires. I hope so, because as long as I do not make any mistakes or any bad mistakes, then we're fine. Even so, this track is kind of, I think it's not known, but it's a lot of drivers are making mistakes just with, I mean, in these 40 minutes, as it just needs, or with the Audi, with the McLaren, with Lamborghini, it just needs a little bit of turning too much and you spin. I mean, yeah, Ferrari and others like BMWs can also spin. It's just in different corners normally. There it's more, I think, on throttle, while this car can basically on turning or on throttle, or if you overdo it with the setup, it can spin in many instances. Yeah. But so far, it's still looking very good. The gap is still the same. I lost a little bit in the last lap, but that's just how it is. And what I did see was then was P3 that is coming near, and that was the guy that was on P1. It's the other Lamborghini, and he was fairly fast. I mean, and I thought maybe if he will catch up and he will overtake the Ferrari on P2, Bryce, that he might be able to close the gap. Even so, yeah, you never know. I mean, he did a mistake at the beginning. Let's see if he'll be consistent enough to catch up. Because he is now kind of in slipstream range of P2, which means, and he also looks faster, or he did look faster at that time. He had the fastest lap so far of the race, and yeah, I really wasn't. I didn't know if I could keep the distance, as the Ferrari was already not losing time quickly, and I just thought, let's just put the head down and turn in the laps consistently, have fun, and just drive fast and consistently without overdriving or without forcing a mistake.
The gap to Castro behind is increasing. It's now 5.4 seconds.
And I think this corner here, with this braking here, this is one of the strengths of the Lambo. It's really good on the brakes and on that part. I've seen this in a few races where I could actually, I was braking later and could pull nearer in that corner. Even so, the good drivers, I think they sometimes take that chicane afterwards in second gear. I'm doing it with first gear, just to a little bit to be sure to have enough acceleration if I'm not that clean. And even the funny thing on Suzuka is it kind of looks slow, but then you're actually faster than if you overdrive it, and it feels fast and everything, but that's most of the time it's a little bit slower. You're quicker if you're more consistent and quick. If it doesn't look that spectacular. This corner here, where I've went down into second gear, can also take it with third gear, and the one you wouldn't have to shift down before into third. But that's something I do just for precaution. You have more turn-in. I might maybe lose a tenth or maybe 2/10 there, but I mean, as long as I'm quick enough to stay in front and they don't catch me there, then it's just more secure for me to drive. And here also the outside, the green Astro is very dangerous. If you hit the curb, it's okay, or mostly can ride at the curb and turn in. But I do avoid it in this race just because I had some spins in practice when I went slightly over the curb and went on the Astro. The same on this side here on the right. It's quite dangerous. If you hit the curb, it's okay, but if you go over it and you hit the Astro, you have to set the wheel straight and maybe reduce throttle a little bit, kind of, just not that this car is spinning. so far did a few slight mistakes, but that shouldn't harm us. And I think this was one of the fast laps that I had, because it looks quite slow. And it doesn't sound, it really doesn't sound aggressive, but I think these are the really the quicker laps.
The gap behind is now 6.2.
I'm not even sure, but it was the Lamborghini behind me, P2, that did overtake the Ferrari, and was 6 seconds behind me, and then at that time he had the quickest lap, so I kind of focused, and then I was able in lap 12 to actually do the quickest lap, even faster than him by 2/10, which yeah, I was very happy. Had the fastest lap that I ever did on this track during the race, and yeah. Which also made me more secure to know that I can actually keep the gap up, that I can run away if I'm consistent. Here the gap was slightly narrowed down to 5.8. Sure, I guess it could even be this lap, this or the last lap, or this lap that was the fastest lap, I'm not even sure. I was using the whole track here. Here again, I think this is the fastest as it looks, because you have to, you know, get these, use the full track, almost get onto the curbs. And kind of really get a very good exit on these laps. I think this was the fastest lap. Well, anyways, when looking at the car behind, still consistent, about around 6 seconds behind.
That's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes.
And it's kind of also funny, the Lamborghini. I felt when I started to drive it, I felt good driving it. I like how it feels, the way it turns, and by now it's really I love it, because it just looks good, it sounds good, and it's
the guy behind's really new in. The gap's now 5.6 seconds.
It really suits my driving style, just the way it handles, and also with together with like Apex setups, which just fit my driving style. As you can see here, I did touch the curb, but it's just touching that shouldn't actually upset it that much. And at this point there, I think he was really still a little bit anxious regarding the gap that I got to the guy. And at the same time, I also thought about both guys, the Ferrari and the Lambo, that when they're racing in a pack, if they do not fight each other that much, and he's following the guy behind, then they might be able to save fuel and could come nearer during pit time. I'm not sure how much it can save, but if I just thought I have to have a really a good pitting, not lose any time in the pits, not put too much fuel in, so that we'll keep the gap that we've driven out so far. But still, after some time, enough driving, I saw also that the Lamborghini did not catch me. I'm not even sure if it was, maybe this was the or one of the faster laps, or it will come. But I was slowly getting sure, yeah, he won't catch me, or he will not come near as long as I'm consistent. And that gave me kind of confidence with each lap, you know, nearer to pitting. And you never know, it's always, you know, in your head, like, hey, you never know, maybe you'll crash in the last or in the second last lap and throw it all away. It's just it's not that much of a gap that you have. But yeah, I mean,
The gap behind is now 5.9 seconds.
Which is very consistent. I can see them on the back of the straight, but as long as they don't do any mistake, then they really have to be quite a good amount faster, or to become more consistently faster to catch. And of course I'll try to avoid that happening. And kind of I feel like Suzuka is kind of like a flow. That I can get more than other tracks where I can drive and then just, you know, consistently, or kind of consistently put laps in. Here I had an off track, I went a little bit too wide. But so far fairly clean. Still looking at the gap, it's still about the same. And as I said before, the race on P1, I guess it's, I would like to show something maybe more spectacular. Like the race before was way more spectacular, just overtaking, fighting like mad. I was really driving like a madman. That's why I guess I was overdriving it, and at the end I did make mistakes.
Okay, Dave,
but
15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes. Awesome stuff, mate. Keep it coming.
Of course, you know, being on P1 and driving, yeah, sure, I want to win the race and not crash out, but just for the feeling, just the driving, it's also fun. Just to have these races where you have to fight, where you gain positions. If there's kind of a good end, being better. It's heartbreaking if you have a fight and then at the end you have you're crashed out or something happens, but yeah, that's racing. It happens to all, I guess. So around 25 minutes into the race, and looking at the gap, it's still about the same.
The gap behind is now 5.8.
And so thinking about the pitting, but I'm on this race. I also did put in the max amount, that is 60 liters on the Lamborghini, just to stay out as long as possible, and then go in very late, just for a quick splash and dash kind of. A little bit more, I think it's about 20 liters or so. A bit more that is refueled, maybe fueling for, or sitting there for 9 seconds, I guess, like that. But I think it's a tactic that works here in these splits normally. If you if you go in earlier, the issue is just that you, if you're going in empty, then you have to fill in a lot of fuel. Even so, if you're empty, you're quicker, but you have to turn in these laps. When the car is empty, then you're quicker normally, and you can consistently, or you should be able then to drive out the gap or to attack. But if you go in early, maybe yeah, if you're at the back, maybe you can drive freely for some time. That might help. But here at this level, normally I feel the best tactic is to go full at the beginning. I don't feel that much of downsides. With a full pack, of course, it's not as fast, but in the beginning the lap times aren't that fast anyway. So you have to, come into the game and kind of progress and then get faster, get the feeling for it. And the big benefit is, of course, at the end you can maybe drive out the gap. You've got a light car until you pit, and that again that makes it a little bit faster in these last laps. And then you get in, you refuel, and you again have a light car. So the end of the race is you have a short, basically the shortest possible pit time, and of course a light car that can drive. So it should be a kind of a benefit versus going in early. But yeah, that's just my 5 cents. And looking at the
gap behind has increased to 6.8.
Looking at the lap times, I was now able to lap a little bit quicker than him, which is also again a boost for confidence to enlarge the gap without going full risk. And yeah, I think a lot of the spins actually happen here in these curves, because the people they turn in a lot into one side and release the throttle too quick and turn at the same time.
Okay, Dave, 10 minutes to go.
Which unsettles the car and then lets it kind of spin, I guess. So that's one of the reasons. And with this setup, it can really easily happen. So that's a little bit cautious on turning and out, just releasing the throttle and not too fast. The gap is now at 7 seconds around-ish. Of course, it's also a little bit larger on straights, and it's shrinking a little bit when you're in chicanes or in the corner. But at least 1 second more than before. And here I go into the pit, and
the limiter, box in
wasn't
360
great pit
meters.
entry, but it was okay. I didn't lose a lot of time here. Could have
The car behind is pitting.
Could have done better. And of course the Lamborghini behind me also has to pit. He couldn't save fuel, too much fuel.
100 meters.
So this will now be very interesting.
50 meters.
Because two things. My time here, you can see it's counting. I think it should stop at 35. Wasn't very clean, but yeah, 35 seconds pit.
Don't cross the white line.
So if I look back, my goal is to come out with at least again 6 seconds before the Lamborghini. I mean, he was maybe able to save some fuel and to refuel a little bit less, but no, it doesn't seem so. He has lost about 3 seconds or 3 to 4 seconds in the pit, which means I had a good a good pit strategy so far. Now it's just one guy, it's the Ferrari. The Ferrari was, I think it was 7 to 8 seconds behind, and he's still out, he's still driving. It's also the both Ferraris, they seem to be better with fuel consumption than the Lamborghini. Maybe also because they were able to drive in the slipstream for enough laps. This can of course, it was kind of in my fuel calculation, it was very. I could almost turn in 1 lap more if I had maybe slipstream for 10 laps. Then I would have easily, I think, with a little of saving, I would have easily been able to stay out 1 lap more. That's what I guess what they might be doing, or just the car, the Ferrari, that is consuming less. Could also be the case. But we'll see. Kind of when 1 and 2 are going in at this lap now.
Castro behind is pitting now.
Okay, yeah, the first guy's now driving into pits. So I have to pass around 30, and I will see in their pit times. And here I was a little bit overdriving it, almost spinning it to the outside, because I wanted to turn in a lap as quick as possible, not that I get overtaken in the pits. But my fear was actually not. It wasn't nothing happening. I was able to pit the same as P2, so he came out with basically 7.7 again, or he's 7.7 behind, which is kind of similar to before. So he may have gained maybe 1 second in the pits, or maybe even 2 seconds. I'm not sure, but good. I've still got the margin, and the fast Lambo is behind. He has fallen back. Plus the other Ferrari also has fallen back.
The car behind is catching.
That's actually something very nice in race lap. You kind of see, you can check, hey, what the pit times of other cars are. You see, hey, who's gaining and who's losing in the pits. So it's also a good indicator. And so at this time, then I was quite sure. Now I can drive at home, even if I slow down. I mean, drive more safe. I should be able to keep the 8 seconds.
5 minutes to go. This is good. We'll be on the podium if we can keep it together.
To keep the 8 seconds, as long as I do not spin or do any other stupid things. So just try to drive safe, but still fast. And I kind of, put my focus back. First I said, I will go a little bit slower, but then it always comes to my mind, if I go down with the speed, I might also lose a little bit of concentration. So I'd rather try to lap consistent and still fast, and drive safely, and try to stay focused more than trying to drive secure or specially or so, because I think that doesn't work, or for me it doesn't work. And that, I think at this stage, I could kind of feel the tire wear a little bit. It's not, I didn't like much. It's just it feels a little bit more loose, not a lot, but the tires are still really good, and still really easy. It's just the feeling on the wheel is a little bit lighter. You feel you could, maybe if you turn too much, you could easily spin it. And the guy behind kind of first did catch up a little bit, but then as soon as I started lapping a little bit faster again, a little bit more consistent, he again loses and I can enlarge it, make the gap larger behind. So kind of a lot of things going through your heads during the 40 minutes on the drive now. So I just say, hey, just drive, stay focused, don't think about too much, drive consistent, concentrate on the track. I mean, that already by itself is maybe too much, but and I could gain another second almost. Right behind.
The gap to Castro behind is now 8.2.
So I was pretty sure by now.
Just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go.
So pretty sure by now that this should be enough to hopefully win the race, which would be my very first VRS win. I had I think 2 or 3 P2s and P3s a few, but so far no win. There was always some kind of driver that was just a little bit faster and I couldn't catch him. But maybe I can beat that driver today in this race, hopefully. So far really, I like Suzuka, I like this track, because it's that field track, that kind of dangerous track where you can throw away your car easily. It's also very rewarding, I think. But it kind of said before, it's kind of really, it's lonely driving ahead on P1. Not the best race to showcase or to show for action. It's so very rewarding when you drive it, and it all works out so far. By the way, this will at the same time also be the last race that I'll show you with this PC. I should get my new system next week, and hopefully this should be an upgrade graphics wise. Hope to be able to show more details and better quality of the picture also. What really helped me a lot is the screen. The FOV field of view is just much larger, and I can see now when I'm driving into apexes in these bends, because the vision to the side is just much better. It's also easier to drive consistently, to lap consistently. Like here, this hairpin, I can see when I have to accelerate when I'm in mid, when I'm right at the apex. That was harder before, and it kind of maybe it doesn't make it faster, but more consistent, I guess. Or some 30s things like that. That gap to P2 is 9 seconds or 9.5 seconds, depending on what part of the track I am. So this should be basically an easy thing if I don't spin or don't do anything unforeseen and stupid. Never know before. So I guess this was the white flag. Not quite sure because the time. Unfortunately, I cannot see it here in the replay. I think this should be the last lap. And still 9 seconds up front of P2. And I think also of all races, this was the most consistent so far that I had in lap times. I was pretty consistently lapping, and I also had I think 2 or 3 laps under 2 minutes, which was very nice for me. I was very happy. Also, getting the fastest lap in a race. Yeah, kind of just feels good. And it was, to be honest, I did practice a lot, consistent practice, maybe not driving all day long, but just every day a little bit, trying to get better. I think it really helps.
Gap to Castro behind is now 9.6 seconds.
Interesting thing, in the last race that I raced, that was a day before this one, the guy in P2 beat us, and he won the race. And the nice thing is we are all faster, and I was able to beat him clearly on lap times and on overall, which was nice, and this was a win. So that was car 11. It's a P1 of 28 cars in a SOF of 1,462, which is nice. That shows me that I'm getting better slowly. The I rating has increased to 1591. That's a plus for the P1. Plus the safety rating went up after a disastrous last race with a lot of crashes where I dropped. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.